So I'm here with my friend Eric Martz, and we've been talking about some of the challenges that business owners face when it comes to thinking about exit strategies. And Eric has given me an education on some of the numbers of people who are looking to sell their business as a way to fund their retirement, but haven't done much about it. And we've talked in the past a little bit about the role of bankers. And I guess I'm interested, Eric, in getting your thinking about what specific kinds of questions bankers should be asking of their business customers, specifically about what their longer term plans are.
That's a good question, Ned. As we've talked about in the past, bankers have a very critical role to hold with their customers, their business owning customers, and they have a very special relationship. Much like accountants, they hold critical information about the owner and their business, and they've got a lot to lose if they are not successful in helping that business owner ultimately sell their business. And as I put it, they are responsible for punching holes in their own canoe if they're not successful. But I think bankers need to ask a few very targeted questions to get the business owner's attention. And I think that's the first thing, is to get the attention of the business owner and help them understand just how critical this is, and it needs to be acted on immediately, not tomorrow. But I would ask...
And these questions, Eric, just to reframe this, in terms of getting their attention, if some business owner, it doesn't matter how old they are, but if they think their game plan involves selling their business or transferring it to a family, or it doesn't matter how old they are, these people could be in their 30s, their 40s, it doesn't matter. You could have this conversation to get their attention and get them talking with you about what it is they would like to do down the road.
Yeah, and a lot of folks use the 3 to 5 year time horizon so that you don't get caught, like a lot of folks are going to be caught, thinking that you can just put a sign in the yard and sell it like a house.
Yeah.
It's not a fast transition. You need 3 to 5 years to really prepare your business and to maximize the enterprise value.
It's interesting. I remember being at a bankers meeting a few years ago, and we had two business owners who were being interviewed. It was sort of a panel type discussion, and one of the guys was in his early 40s, and the question came up about what his exit strategy was, and the assumption of the bankers was, well, he's a young guy, he's going to want to keep running this business forever. Wrong. He said, in essence, that if he could exit his business in the next 3 or 4 years, if he could find a buyer, he'd be out of there. So part of this is, it's not age, and until you've had a conversation with a business owner, you really may not know what they're thinking about.
Yeah, a decade or so ago, you could sell your business to another baby boom business owner, but that crowd is much smaller these days. So you've got to be more focused on who you're going to potentially sell it to. But I think, going back to your question, about what the banker needs to be asking, the conversation needs to be focused on is, talking to the business owner, do you have a business that doesn't need you in order to be successful? The most important consideration for a business owner is that they have, as a friend of mine, Mike Finger, said, they've created a saleable business.
Yeah.
Second question would be, have you systematized your business? Readiness and transferability are two major business drivers or killers. Have you put systems in place to make the business more efficient? A third question would be, do you operate with key performance indicators in order to monitor your business performance? If you don't know where you are, you can't get to where you need to be. And then what I think are 3 questions that kind of nail things down. What's your retirement or exit plan? What have you done to begin the process? And the big one is, what happens when you are not here tomorrow, which is going to happen. People are going to get sick. People are going to die, you know, and that forces the transition. Nobody avoids transitioning their business. You know, and I think just like those in the path of the killer tsunami that we've talked about in the past, planning for your exit now is better than waiting. Even if you don't sell in the next few years, you've improved the value of your enterprise by working on it. And I think that it's common sense for those who choose not to invest in their firms and give prospective buyers an opportunity for material growth for acquisition. They're going to experience lower valuations. When somebody is interested in buying your business, they want to know that they can turn a profit from day one and that there's growth potential in it. The dynamics of the baby boom business environment is going to be that impending buyers, this is going to be a buyer's market.
Yeah.
Just like the hiker running from the bear, he doesn't need to outrun the bear, he needs to outrun the other hiker.
Yeah.
And the race with the silver tsunami of baby boom business owners is going to go to those that are best prepared.
Yeah. So let me interject here, because one of the issues, obviously, for a banker is to understand the business owner's business model. So it's important for the business banker to be asking questions about you know, whether the business can function without the owner. Great question. A lot of businesses can't, at least at a certain stage in their development. So the idea of trying to figure out, can you build leadership depth? Can you build management depth? The questions about KPIs, really important. Bankers need to understand business, under the underlying business, in order to be able to advise them. And if they have that, you know, the questions about what next, I think, are really important. So you don't go into a meeting with somebody you don't know much about and start immediately peppering them with questions about their future plans until you have that ground level knowledge. But one of the things that strikes me, and we've talked about why some business owners may not have planned very much. One of the questions I wonder about is whether, if a banker poses questions about their future strategies and what their plan is, whether they're going to get good answers or not from their business owners. What's your sense about, based on your experience working with business owners?
I think most bankers are comfortable with the questions that need to be asked. Maybe they need to concentrate on asking them frequently so that it's not just a one-time conversation.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a banker a couple of years ago, and we were talking about this very issue, and he was sharing with me that one of his biggest loan customers was a very successful farmer. And the farmer was he was my age. He was in his mid 60s, and he posed the question, you know, what about tomorrow? You know, what are you thinking about in selling your business? And the farmer said, well, I'm not planning on selling it because I'm in good health. You know, I enjoy what I'm doing and I'm good at it. And the banker said, well, I can appreciate that, but I don't want to have the conversation with your widow about how we are going to sell the assets. And, you know, that's the critical question. You know, we all may be feeling great today, but, you know, tomorrow could be totally different. And
yeah, I think that's a very, very valid point. And if a banker succeeds in getting a business owner, whether the business owner's plans are near term or longer term, to start to think about this, I think there's an advantage. Obviously, the bank is doing what it should do, trying to be helpful and guiding their people to the right kind of thinking. But the second thing that a banker can do is begin to suggest building a team of people. If there is some interest in trying to sell the business to employees, find an outside buyer, do something in terms of transferring it to another generation of family members, the individual is going to need a team. Banker's part of it, who would be some of the other people that would be part of the team that a business owner would need to assemble?
Yeah, exactly. That's right on target. A friend of mine, John Deeney, said in one of his books, "Selling your company is your financial Super Bowl, and you want to make sure that you've got the best team on the field." You need to create a success team of professionals, and I stress professionals. This is a big deal. This is your financial future. So you need to have people that add value. And obviously you start out with the banker, as you indicated, but you need an estate attorney, you need a wealth manager, a consultant, and execution team leader. You need a business attorney, a business broker, an accountant and tax specialist, an insurance advisor, a business valuation appraiser, key employees and board members, and then you shouldn't leave out your spouse.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of folks here, and some businesses may need them all, some may not need every professional, but you need to make sure that you've got the right ones for your situation. And I'd stress the execution team leader, because you've got to have somebody that's holding everybody accountable for their part, including the business owner. Accountability and execution are critical for success in the transactions.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. And I think, again, business owners may have assembled, a group of people around them. One would expect that they would have an accountant who'd be familiar with their plans, perhaps some legal assistance. But it is important for the team to come together. So oftentimes the next step, depending upon the interests of the business owner, would be to assemble at least the team and begin to talk through some of these issues. So I think you've highlighted for me at least the critical role that bankers can play and the real value that they can bring by asking a few questions and making sure that when the time is right, they're able to initiate some conversations and help the business owner bring a team of people together who would help them execute. Because at the end of the day, this is more than just an idle plan. This is the Super Bowl, as you say. Good analogy. So, Eric, thanks very much for spending the time with us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Ned.